Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I like to discuss the latest news on the continued collapse of UK car manufacturing in the wake of Brexit, not only looking at what the data shows, but also explaining why it's happening so that people can see the link between cause and effect. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So the BBC has produced another article showing that UK car production has dropped to its lowest level in 66 years. And in it, they present a chart which shows quite clearly that production was rising all the way up until 2016 and has then fallen every single year since. Now, obviously, there was a big drop in the wake of COVID, but it was declining before then, and it has continued to decline since. What happened in 2016 to cause this decline? Well, the Brexit referendum. But we didn't leave the single market in the customs union until 2021. So how is it caused by Brexit? Because manufacturers make long-term investment decisions. From 2016 onwards, it was made clear that we would likely be leaving the single market and customs union. That was the stated government policy. So most new investments would be sensibly diverted to countries that would be remaining. And it's not just car manufacture either. The trend for investment growth overall collapsed after 2016 in the UK. There is a clear link in the data here between the timing of the Brexit referendum and a loss of investment in the UK overall. Investments long term. And the UK made a statement that its trading relations in the near and medium term future were going to be uncertain. Investors do not like uncertainty. We should also remember that pretty much the only economist in favour of Brexit, Sir Patrick Minford, actually told the Tories to run down UK car manufacture if we left the EU. He said it would be futile to try and preserve it. But before I get on to the specific reasons why, I want to tackle what might be an attempt to muddy the Brexit waters. See, we know how Brexiteers react to news like this one. They try and blame it on some other factor that's nibbling at the edges. So let's look at the data properly. Just because there was a decline in car manufacturing since 2016 and a stagnation in investment at the same time does not itself prove beyond doubt that the Brexit referendum was the cause, although you are thinking it very, very loudly. But if you look at, say, German car manufacturer, you can see that that also declined over the same period. Aha! Say the Brexiteers, not Brexit. Look, Germany, happened to Germany as well. Ah, yes. But if you look at car production in, say, France or Italy, the other two major producers in Europe, that carried on increasing. It was only the UK and Germany which saw a decline. And we know why it declined in Germany. They were hit in 2015 with the VW diesel scandal. That was a mighty blow to the German car manufacturing sector. Mighty blow. What we have here is both Germany and the UK doing something separately which had the same impact on car production. Except in the UK, we saw the impact on overall investment. But that didn't happen in Germany. In the case of Germany, what happened was fiddling emissions data. So that hit their car production figures, but not other investment. In the case of the UK, we announced a long period of trading uncertainty, which hit all investment. And because we can see that all investment in the UK was hit from 2016, or at least in general, not just car production, unlike in Germany, we can see that Brexit was essentially the reason. But we should still understand exactly why it is. It's all right looking at data and go, oh, it's probably that. If you need to understand cause and effect. So Kieran, who's an experienced international courier who posts explanation on Twitter, was pointing out a few facts regarding car production. See, he made the excellent point that if you look at a map of car production in Europe, you won't see any in Switzerland or Norway. Now, I will link such a map for you in the description below. Nice interactive maps, very good. And he is quite correct, not a sausage. Reason? Well, you might think Norway, it's quite far up there and it's a bit cold. But Switzerland's right in the heart of Europe. Why would that be then? It's because that although Norway and Switzerland are in the single market, and they can sell their cars around Europe without any real hassle, they're not in the customs union. As a product, a car is made of, as I'm sure you can understand, a great many components. A great many components. Economies of scale mean you cannot have factories making each of these components in each country in Europe. In fact, you couldn't even have it viably done if to have factories making all of these components inside an individual major car producing nation of Europe, like the UK, France, Italy, Germany. So the factories supplying these components are spread all across Europe. In the UK, before Brexit, our factories just ordered what they needed from wherever they got it from. It arrived, you'd use it, all part of the just-in-time supply chain. No paperwork required other than the invoice. Oh, we need so many of these things in a week. Right, let's get them ordered. But leaving the customs union now means there's a load of extra paperwork required to buy those components in. And it's not always the same paperwork because we're not buying them from the EU. There is no EU when you're outside it. There's individual nations with their own individual procedures. They're all individual sovereign countries. Also, think about it from the point of view of the supplier. So let's say you're running a factory in Poland producing suspension springs or something. They're used to selling car assembly plants in other parts of Poland, in Germany, France, the Netherlands, wherever. They get an order, they produce the invoice, they ship it out. Done. Finished. Suddenly they get an order from Britain. Used to do the same thing. Now they have to sort out a load of extra paperwork to meet our different customs arrangements. That's hassle. And it's not something they normally have to do either. So they charge extra for the staff time needed to deal with it, but they may not do it all that often. They only get orders every now and then. So they'll make mistakes because they don't do it that often. This causes extra delays. And even without the mistakes, even if they're right on the ball, the process of sorting out loads of extra red tape still means time, which still means delays. So the British assembly plant can't afford to order things as and when they need. Oh, we need these things in a week. Oh, well, tough luck. We'll not get them in a week, will we? It's not going to arrive in time. So you have to order loads in advance at once, which means you then need more storage. And this applies to all of the components being ordered in from other countries. So they need extra warehousing to store the components. That is all extra expense as well. You know, it's all extra expense to have a British assembly plant that would not apply in the EU. And it's double trouble for us because we didn't just leave the customs union, we left the single market as well, which means that once we've finally assembled this car, we then have to sort out even more paperwork in order to sell that car to an EU country. There'll also potentially be tariffs due as well, making it more expensive. If you're someone thinking of investing in a car production line in Europe, and your choice is Britain or Belgium, well, Belgium can order in components from around Europe without any hassle. It can assemble and then sell the car around Europe without any hassle. If you set up in Britain, you need a team to deal with customs issues, a team to deal with the extra red tape of sales, extra warehouses to store the components, which will have to come infrequently now, so you need to maintain higher than usual stocks. If there's an issue with the supply chain, because you can't get things quickly, you may have to halt production, which has happened. And you don't get to sell the car for more to compensate for all these extra costs. In fact, you may need to sell it for less to cover for tariffs under certain circumstances. So, and also bear in mind that still, years later, nearly 6.5 years later, the trading conditions are still uncertain. The government are still talking about maybe getting rid of thousands of regulations at the end of the year, or maybe not. We don't know. Everything's still uncertain. And then in another couple of years' time, we'll probably have a Labour government. They're going to renegotiate the Trading Cooperation Agreement because it automatically comes up for renegotiation. And they're going to try and negotiate something closer. But again, we don't know what. Such uncertainty. So you can see how, even on the surface, it's a much easier decision to build your car assembly plant in an EU country than the UK, or at least in Britain. And you look at the map again and you think, so if it's not viable to build cars in Switzerland or Norway, and it's clearly not because not a single plant, again, Switzerland particularly notable because that's right in the middle. There's no reason for them not to have a car assembly plant unless there's some good reason not to. So if there's some good reason not to, just because they're not in the customs union, how much less viable is it to build them in a country that is outside the customs union and the single market? And that is why even that rarest of breeds, a professor of economics in favour of Brexit, gave no chance to British car manufacturing if we left. Even a Brexiteer cannot see a future for such production in post-Brexit Britain. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. I hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.